What's up guys, Jonathan's here once again, and today we are talking about the best way to record high quality audio on the Red Komodo 6K. Now many of us are aware that the Red Komodo 6K has a 3.5mm jack microphone in, and so this is not a line in, so that means the sound quality out of the camera is not at its best potential. Having said that, the camera also has a dual microphone, so a left and a right microphone, which allows you to record scratch audio, and that's all it means, scratch. Very thin, very unusable for professional. Even for YouTube stuff, it's not usable for that. And so it requires that we use some sort of a way or some sort of form to record clean audio into the camera. And here we have three different ways that we can actually record into the camera. So one, we are looking at the Rode NTG video mic, and or video mic NTG. The reason why I opted out for this strictly because when you're shooting things like weddings or that sort of videos, then you want a little bit more quality audio, but you don't want to break the bank. So the Rode video mic NTG is the go-to for stepping up your game on the built-in audio. The main reason why is because it has output volume control right here at the end, and this allows you to increase the output the microphone is sending to the camera and decrease the input that the camera is recording the audio. This way you get a much cleaner sound. Having said that, it's not clean to the best. You'll still need to do some work in post to clean up the sound. Now, another big advantage of this particular Rode NTG microphone is that it has a smart feature that actually, as soon as you connect the 1/4mm jack from the mic into the camera and turn on the camera, then the mic becomes active. Once you turn off the camera, within a few seconds, the microphone will deactivate and shut itself down. So this means you do not have to worry about forgetting to turn off the microphone and killing the battery. Talking about battery life, this is stated by Rode that it's somewhere between 32 and 36 hours of active use, and so this means that this microphone will be usable for many. Purchased it 2 months ago. I've only charged it, I think, probably twice maximum, and this is probably because I don't use it as often, but whenever I do use it, I actually do forget to turn it off, and luckily that smart feature actually helps and keeps the battery charged. This way, anytime I need it, I pick it up, I know that it has some sort of battery life and I'll be able to use it. So this is number one to step up the game with the scratch audio that this camera records, is with some sort of a shotgun mic, in my case the Rode NTG video mic. So number two, we have for wireless transmitting audio and receiving audio into the Red Komodo, I use the Holyland Lock 150, and this is the dual model, not the new solo one. I like the dual model because, one, I purchased it before the solo one came out. Even if the solo one was out at that time, I would have purchased the dual one, because there are scenarios where you actually are recording two people at the same time and you would want a dual transmitter. So in this case, this is the receiver that I simply attach to my Red Komodo. It has a line output. Now here's where the issue lies after you step up from the shotgun microphone. It has a line output, and the Red Komodo has a mic input, which means the output from this transmitter or the receiver is going to be much more hotter into the Red Komodo. So that's where this cable comes in handy. This is a breakout cable. They call it attenuator cable, and what it does is it converts line output into a mic input. So what that means is it cuts down the volume level from the line output so that the camera can receive the mic input at a reasonable level. So that helps in decreasing the clip of your audio when you have line output into mic input. And this doesn't just only work for the Red Komodo, this will work with any DSLR camera that actually has a mic input. So it will help when you're using a line output audio. So definitely something that you might want to grab and keep that in your audio kit for future, because this is definitely something that you use a lot and it's very, very useful. And so I will leave the link in the description below if you need anything about that. Now, moving on to the highest end recording, there are two ways actually to record high-end audio, and one is better than the other, is with this external recorder. Not necessarily my choice, which is Zoom F6. It could be Zoom F8 or any external recorder that has a good, decent amount of audio. Recording external, it's always the go-to and always the best way to get clean audio. So I opted out for the Zoom F6. I know some of you asked why I actually chose this. Watch out for a video on that. I'm going to do my full review and the reason why I chose the Zoom F6 over the Zoom F8 and Sound Device and many other recorders out there. One main reason is actually, let me just give you a heads up, it's actually the portability. With the footprint of the Red Komodo, as we are aware, the Red Komodo is a very, very small camera, and so you can tell that I'm trying to keep everything nimble as possible. This way, when the worst case scenario comes where I need to actually have the recorder attached and record directly from the recorder into the camera, the size doesn't become too bulky. And also besides that as well, it's easier to carry around, especially when you're doing sound work. What I tend to do is have this attached to that with the sound bag input and then my shotgun mic straight out of one of these lines. And very simple, very light and very, very compact to move around without actually feeling that you actually have a bulk attached to your body. So, two ways of recording sound with this device or any external device is one, as I've mentioned, recording the sound through here directly with one of these cables into the camera. You get clean sound, but you miss the biggest feature, which is actually this particular recorder, which is the 32-bit float. In video terms, we call it raw audio recording. Again, the Zoom F6 particularly has a line out. It's not a microphone out. So a line out meaning it's going to be hot coming into the Red Komodo. So again, this becomes very, very handy in reducing the level that is coming into the camera. That is one way of recording. It's clean, but you will still face noise, and then also you have the potential of clipping and also not recording loud enough, which means if you've clipped, you can't recover that in the camera. And also if it's too low and you end up pushing in post, you introduce noise. So that leaves us with the third and final and the best quality way of recording audio is to record externally. Now, a lot of people are scared to record externally, having to sync the audio in post, especially when you do work like what I do, narrative based. Imagine you're shooting an entire day of a project and maybe you're shooting 16, 17, 20 scenes in a day, and you've got so many rushes and so many audio cuts that you need to manually sync in post, which is a pain in the neck and editor's nightmare. And so that's when this device, Timecode by Tentacle Sync E, comes in handy. Timecode is something that already exists in the industry. It was very difficult for consumers to get our hands on, and people without that high budget to actually get their hands on Timecode. However, there are a few lingering about, but recently this company called Tentacle released this awesome device. Very, very small, very compact, as you can see. Actually, if I compare it to the Holyland Lock 150 microphone, you realize that it's almost the same size. So what this does is actually it generates a time either via audio or actually time based, and that goes directly into your Zoom F6 or into your camera, either capturing the time code from the camera into the Tentacle Sync or sending time code from the Tentacle Sync to the camera or the Zoom F6. Now, the way it works is it generates a time, as you can see right here, and it makes sure that all the devices, so your camera, the time code generator, and your audio has the same time at all time. And this enables you to, in post, just click one click, and what it does is it syncs everything together. And this way it eliminates the need of having to manually sync the audio in post, which makes your workflow a whole lot faster. I recently shot a feature film, and it was the first time me actually using this time code. I have a full review coming out on there. There were some glitches here and there. It could be operators user's fault, or maybe it's something that's actually to do with the device. I don't know, but I'm gonna be releasing a full review on this. But besides that, it's a very, very smart system that makes your workflow a whole lot easier. Another thing is your 32-bit float on here. So if you were going to go through into the camera directly, as I said before, you don't have that luxury. But recording externally, you are able to record that raw audio, and that's when this Tentacle Sync comes in handy, so that it makes your syncing in post a whole lot easier. So that's it for me. Hope this short video will help you in deciding which one of these three audio sources that you need for your Red Komodo, depending on your needs. If you're a wedding shooter, if you do documentary interviews, or if you do narrative. So these three devices falls in those three categories. So hopefully this has helped you in deciding what you need for your Red Komodo, or if you're thinking of buying a Red Komodo, these are the audio features that you will be able to implement in your workflow. So that's it for me, guys. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.